Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Tony Fianaka. I'm with Sparks Florist, and since today is Floral Design Day, I want to take this opportunity to show you how to take a vase and turn it into a beautiful collection of flowers. So first, let's take a look at this vase. This is a 5-inch cylinder, and what we need to decide is a way of actually dividing the space into a much smaller area because we don't want to have our flowers moving a lot throughout the actual vase. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take these beautiful white hydrangeas, and hydrangeas are great because they have like this little network of blossoms, and we can kind of just fluff it out a little bit and just make one larger flower like this. And then I'm actually going to use this product. It's called bind wire. We use it to actually bind different materials together, and think of it like a bread twist tie. It's nice and thin. It looks like a little vine, so it's not horribly distracting inside of a vase. And we're just going to take it, we're going to twist it around our stems, and that's what's going to actually hold most everything in place. And then from here we can clip our flowers, clip off some of those excess stems, and we'll just add it straight into the vase. And you see how the blossoms sit right on the rim of the vase? This keeps everything from moving, and it really just makes a very stable design for us to build off of. And so from here we can just add additional flowers. What I like to do is I like to look for things that are really branchy. So if we wanted to add something like this beautiful baby's breath here, we're just going to go ahead and cut it down a little bit. And what we'll do is we will kind of fluff out our hydrangea, and we will just add those stems right in there. By adding more branching material at the beginning of our design, we're just essentially dividing that vase into smaller and smaller components. And that just means that when we have a flower that has a higher center of gravity, it's not going to have that ability to move as much because it's going to get caught up in this nice little network. And what we want to be seeing is we want to be seeing our flowers. When we add them in, they should just set right in there. We don't want them to move around at all. If we have anything that's shifting or moving back and forth, we need to consider adding maybe some greenery or some other branching material. Sometimes we just need to add a little more baby's breath too. All right. So now that we have the baby's breath evenly distributed, we can go ahead and add in some other flowers. So let's take a look. Next, I think I'm going to go ahead and add in some stalk. You might also know this as gillyflower. That's a gardener's name for it. It's very, very fragrant. And believe it or not, it's a cousin of broccoli. I can promise you, the flower itself doesn't smell like broccoli. The stem sometimes does, though. Kind of an interesting little flower. Very easy to grow if you want to grow it out in your yard and have something you can cut and use in fresh arrangements too. All right, next I'm going to go ahead and add in some spray roses, and I just love having little tiny buds, adding them into a design because it'll add texture, and then also they'll open over time, so you'll get some flowers that last a little bit longer in this design. Oh, got to make sure we're in the vase. All right. Let's see. Oh, one more. All right. Next, let's go ahead and add in these really beautiful lisianthus. And again, we're just going to kind of puff out that hydrangea, find a good spot where our lisianthus can live, and we'll just add it straight into the vase. Again, if I saw anything shifting or moving as I was designing, it'd be time to add a little bit more baby's breath. It'd be a really good sign telling us add more structure. One of the other things you might notice I'm doing, I'm taking the vase, and after every couple of insertions, I rotate it like a quarter of a turn. And what this is going to do is it's going to help make sure that our blossoms are evenly distributed. So we're not going to have one side of the design that's really packed full of flowers and another side that seems kind of empty. All right, it's really pretty. Okay, next let's go ahead and add in some roses. And this is a great variety called Eskimo. These guys, we can easily take the petals and kind of flip them backwards like this to reflect the petal. And that just makes a really pretty display for a flower. And then we'll find good spots where we can add this in. Again, we want to make sure we're putting them throughout the design. Don't stick them all on one side. Now you might have noticed I take off some of those outer petals on the rose. Those are called guard petals. They guard the interior petals from damage, and sometimes they have a slightly different color than the interior petals. There's nothing really wrong with them, but a lot of times I like to take those off just to keep the design a little cleaner looking. If you like the aesthetic of the petal, leave it on. It's totally up to you. All right, and the last flower I'm going to add in here are ranunculus. And ranunculus are really kind of a cool flower. They were studied by NASA because of their ability to fold their petals. They're super efficient in terms of the way they fold and unfurl. And NASA studied them to be able to figure out how to send solar panels up into space. And it's kind of an interesting flower in that sense. They're a nice, long-lasting flower, but you do have to take care when you're working with them because they have hollow stems, which means that if we grip it a little too tightly, we're going to find that we're going to break that stem and it might bend on us. Alrighty. Beautiful. Okay. And just like that, you too can have a really pretty, nice arrangement, maybe for a coffee table or for an end table. I hope you all enjoy, and happy Floral Day.